Hello YouTube, and welcome back to Allie's Wonderland Creations. I am Alice Seraphin, and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. So, I'm also a Navy veteran, by the way. My husband and I are very proud vets of the military. He retired at 25 years. I did my stint in because we decided to have kids anyways. You'll have to excuse the whiteboard being a pale blue. I had to throw about 4 or 5 whiteboard erasers away, but this helps me when I go to upload my videos. So this is March 2023's Paper Pumpkin called 10 Years of Growth alternative video number 8. It is an easel card, a fun fold card. But first, this is the flyer slash instruction sheet. If any of you out there in the YouTube world of paper crafting have not tried Paper Pumpkin, you are missing out. For roughly about $25 a month, and it might be like 27 something, okay, with shipping. This is the best value for paper crafting, and every month is something new. The stamp sets are always able to be used on other projects, and sometimes I do go into them for a sentiment or so, but I've looked into them. I've gotten other subscriptions for different companies, and I went to Paper Pumpkin strictly, and I signed back up with Stampin' Up! Best value on the market. Absolutely love it. I can't say that I love every single Paper Pumpkin kit because some are just not my style, but I think they push me to get outside of my comfort zone in creating, and I absolutely enjoy that challenge every month. So with that said, next month's theme is the stained glass. They gave us a little sneak peek. It's called To Cherish Every Moment, with gorgeous stained glass looking cherry blossoms, beautiful florals, and thoughtful greetings. Cannot wait. So I'm gonna set that aside and set my whiteboard aside. I have a sample for you. I actually got to use my second card base on this one. So there were, I think, 3 of these. I'm not sure. Let me check the instructions as I have the card bases put away. Yes, so you made 9 cards. 3, 3, and 3. So I am using this one. I've done my sample, so I have 1 left to work with. So this is my easel card. Pops up like so. And yes, I know that this is meant to be up like so, but I think it's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to stand up so I can make sure you guys get a great look at what I just created. So you have plenty of room to write, and this, of course, would go down, but when they go to pop it up, I like that that little leaf comes up there, or can. It doesn't have to, but it does, and really pretty, and I love the colors. I struggled a bit, I can tell you, with the Orchid Oasis, but in the end, I think I tied it in nicely. So let's go over what you're going to need to create that. And I am using the envelopes, like I said, as envelopes, as this is all that had a design on it. So all of my envelopes will be envelopes for the cards. Hopefully I can use them all anyways. So this is for me to stamp off on. Oh, before we go any further, I have 6 of these envelopes available for those who wish to join me. It cost me almost $2 to mail these out, as I just mailed some out today. I have 6 available. What is in them? Well, it's all of these strips. These are all the same size strips. I don't even remember what size. So they're probably 4 by 1.5. And there are at least 10 4 by 5 1/4 pieces of DSE from the Dandy Designs DSP, which was the mega pack in celebration. And what this is for is, this is for my birthday celebration. My birthday is May 6th. I am holding this event live on Facebook at 11 o'clock Pacific Coast time on May 7th. And I hope you're welcome to join me even if you don't want the DSP. but it's my way of giving back to you as a thank you. And I would love to spend my birthday crafting with you with similar products. So that's why I'm giving you the DSP. You'll need your card bases and you'll need a stamp set, and can't wait to see what we all come up with. So if you are interested, I have I have 7 available to go out. And I already mailed out some because I want everybody to have them, get a chance to prep for that. And I will be out of commission for a week here, coming up the first week of April. And then I got to place that wonderful order. I can't wait to order some new things from Stampin' Up. Let's get started, shall we? So what are we going to need? Well, you're going to need the envelope. We have that. You're going to need this card base, making sure I don't have 2 of them. We are going to use this half of the card base and this side of the card base. We are going to cut them down. And I'll give you the measurements here in a minute. So you're going to need a garden green card base. That's 4 1/4 by 11. That means it opens up like so. Then I have a piece of crumb cake that's 4 by 5 1/4. I have a layer of Orchid Oasis that's 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. And then the shelf here, we're going to cut this shelf down to 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. And then this piece is going to cut down to 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside of our card base. So let me set those aside for a moment, going over what else I used. So if you see my other videos, you know that I have been using the Splendid stem dies. I keep them in this little tray, but today I brought in the Forever Flourishing dies. I used these little tiny ones and this one here, and I used quite a bit. So when I tell you guys scraps, I mean, I was using scraps, okay, to get my cut pieces. So you're going to need scraps of garden green for the Splendid stem dies. Also some scraps for the Forever Flourishing dies, and that is, you're going to need 3 of this one, 2 of this one. I think I did 2 of this and I got 2 cards out of it. And then I have, I think, 4 of these little ones, and I think we only need 3. Oh, and I forgot to put down the vellum. I did forget that. So I didn't put these together because I want to show you how I split them up. So you are going to need a 1 1/2 by 1 1/2. So 1 1/2 by 1 1/2 inch of vellum. And that is to stamp in Versamark to an incredible woman from the kit. And you're going to need this wee little flower pot. And we are going to sponge on the back of that. This just brings that Orchid Oasis into the design, and it fills in the space, which I really liked. These are, trying to show you guys, the faux sea glass shapes. I know they're probably retired, but they might have been on the retired clearance rack. And for this, I also am using, these were on the clearance list, these blue adhesive back gems, the bottom ones that have that bit of green in them. So we're going to be using those. You're welcome to use anything that you have, but I kind of liked filling this shelf in. You could have done it with just sequins with any embellishment really, but that little faux glass made it look kind of cool. So let's get started. All right. I am having such a great time trying to prep for this. Okay, so we're going to start by cutting down our card base. So bring in my guillotine. Gonna just fold on that score line. Now I'm gonna tell you, there are a few more pieces you're gonna need. Apparently I forgot to go over them. I have a 1 inch by 1/2 inch scrap of crumb cake. We're going to use that. I also have a little bit bigger piece. I don't need that. This piece is a 1/2 inch by 3 3/4, and that's cut from this piece. And then I have a scrap of Garden Green that's 3/4 of an inch by 4. And this is for the inside of our card. So let's get started again. So we need this to be 4 by 5 1/4. This is for the inside of our card. So I'm going to set that well away from myself so nothing happens to it at the moment. Now, this is where I'm going to get this white strip from. And I'm going to save some of the other strips I'm going to get, but I am lining this up and I want the ever tiniest of white border around my bookshelf. And I might have to trim it a few times to get it right there, but I'm just getting it roughly where I need it. Let's see. I believe this is the strip. Or is it the other one? Nope, that one's not it. I'm saving this, I'm saving this, and I'm saving this. This is the strip that I cut down. So those can be used. So I said it was 3 3/4. So there it is. I already have one. I don't know why I recut it, but that's okay. So now I've got to get this, I've got it basically down where I want it, but I need it to be, I'm going to double check my measurements, the bookshelf, 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. So I need to get it to 3 1/4, and that means I just need to shave a little bit off of, ooh, that's beautiful, 3 1/4. Oh, perfect. Now it needs to be by 4 1/2. And this one is going to be the best bet to get some of that off. So 4 1/2. This one might be just a hair shy, but that's okay. So there is my bookshelf. Make sure I got it where I want it. Okay. My bookshelf is all done. Time to get stamping here. I got to move the card actually out of the way. So you can see on my crumb cake layer, where's the Orchid Oasis layer, guys? Did you guys see it? I know I showed it to you, right? I know I cut it. Oh, it's under that envelope. The envelope's got to go away. So this we're not stamping on. This is our card base. We're not stamping on those, but we are stamping on the crumb cake. And I'm not even going to bring in my foam mat. You could if you wanted, but I am only using 2 colors. Well, I used a Versamark to emboss with the gold embossing powder. I'm not doing that on camera. I'm using this leaf image in Garden Green. And I better set that aside because I might accidentally dip it in ink. Oh, that would be me. It's just the way I roll. Okay, so I'm starting here in the corner and I just want this tip of the flower. And I'm going to turn this and I'm going to do all 4 corners first. It just helps me get everything placed where I want them. And then we're going to fill it in as we go around. So we have all 4 corners. Now I'm going to go to the middle, stamping once, and then without re-inking, I'm stamping to the right. Now I do have to re-ink, stamp off, and stamp to the left. I'm going to turn this. I'm going to stamp in the middle, stamp to the right without re-inking. Now I'm going to stamp off, and I only got to worry about doing about half of this greenery in the ink. So we're going to repeat that a couple more times. So I'm going to stamp in the center, stamp to the right, then I'm going to ink, stamp off, and stamp to the left. One more time for good measure, right? So stamp in the center, stamp to the right, ink up, stamp off. I know. I'm sorry. It's like, I hope this makes sense. Stamp to the left. That is our greenery background. Now we are going to need, this is that left side of our card base. I am going to pop this over like so, because I'm worried about that green ink, garden green, getting anywhere. So we're going to stamp in the corner at a diagonal, stamp up, and stamp down here. We're only going to ink it up once with this. So now I'm going to turn it around, because we have the top left corner and the bottom right corner of the inside of our card. So I'm going to ink this up, stamp in the center, stamp to the right, stamp to the left, with only re-inking it once. Now I'm going to bring in our envelope and move that aside. Our envelope, we're just going to do the same thing. Okay, this is what's so fun about stamping, but I'm going to do more of the leaf this time. So in the center, to the right, and then to the left. And that is our envelope. And that's all we're doing with garden green. I'm going to close up garden green for the moment. Put our envelope aside and bring in our sentiment strip for the inside of our card. Now, it is easier for me to stamp for some reason with it vertically when I do this on camera. I don't know why it is. It just, okay, just trust me, it is easier for me to do it this way. It might look really awkward, but it's easier for me. So now I'm using that Orchid Oasis, and I'm going to get kind of close to, to the left side of my strip like this, okay? So I am going to actually do it backwards so I can see. And I like to walk it down. Let me show you. So I'm doing it, you see how it's like in an angle? And I kind of like to just walk it down, and for some reason that helps me get a straighter line with these skinny little sentiments. So I'm going to hold here. I can see through it. Love that they're polymer and I can see right through the block. All right. That's how I do it. So I'm hoping that that little tip might help you. If you're doing videos, or maybe you're trying to help somebody stamp straighter, that's just my little tip of the day. So we're going to need this again in a minute. So this, let's go ahead and put this together. Why did I need this little strip? Well, let me show you, because this strip was not quite long enough. And I wanted to bring in that little element of crumb cake. So we are going to cut this strip in half with some snips. And I don't mind that it's not going to be straight, because the straight ends are going to get glued down. So I can do this two different ways. We're going to do one way and one the other. I'm going to add some glue to my strip. Make sure I got the straight end of my crumb cake, or put it on there crooked so it's straight, one of the two. And I'm just giving ever so slightly, maybe I can show you, that little strip of color of the crumb cake. So you can do it that way, or you can do it this way. You can put a little bit of glue right here at the end of the garden green and pop that right where you want it. My nails, I am enjoying them, but I'm telling you, they are a bit challenging to work with. So you can do it either way. Now we're going to glue this straight down. Hopefully. And either way you do, you're going to get that little pop of that crumb cake at either end. Okay, shall we go ahead let's go ahead and finish this off. And these are the elements that are going to go right here. This is our greenery from the Splendid Stem Dies. I'm going to add just a little bit of glue, not all the way out, because this is going to go at an angle like so. And I want to make sure that you can see the U. Yikes. See the U. Make sure you can see that. So now this is really cool, kind of cool. I'm cutting this apart and then putting it back together. You guys ready? You know me, I'm going to make it go and last. So I'm cutting it apart there. Now I'm going to cut this off and then I'm going to put it back together. I'm going to add glue to this little bit of a stem. And then I'm going to pop it together like so. Maybe I could bring it out there. Maybe. As I glue my fingers everywhere. Works better when I'm not trying to do a video. It really does. So I'm going to just pinch it for a minute. And now it is one piece. And that is going to go on top. But not before we use this little egg piece. And this was from the Forever Flourishing dies. Hold on. I can't take the stickiness of the glue. I cannot take it. And what I just used is some real liquidy hand sanitizer. And all I did was, because hand sanitizer is normally a bit thicker. So what I did is I took some rubbing alcohol and poured it in there to thin it out some. So you can use as many of these as you want. I used 4 in the last one. I'm going to use all 5 on this one. This is for the inside. There we go. This is just adding that pop of fresh freesia that is on our bookshelf to the inside of this floral point. And here I'm going to add some little dots of glue and add that element right on top. And I think, at least I hope you agree, that by bringing in that Orchid Oasis throughout this card, it ties the whole thing together. So I'm going to grab one of these really large gemstones here and pop that straight in the middle. So this piece is done. Voila, that's for the inside of her card. I'm going to set it aside and I am going to get these pieces ready for their card. So let's see how we are going to work this. This one goes, ooh, now that we're done, I'm going to show you how to make this easel. This is so easy, everybody. It's scary how easy this is, okay? Take 1/2 of this card base. You fold one end right up to that center score line. Put it right up against it. Use your bone folder and voila, you have an easel. It's that simple. Must have been some alcohol still left over. That easy. Pop, pop, pop. No problem. Now to glue this down so it will pop up, you only need to add glue to the bottom half. And I don't go all the way to the edges. There we go. I'm not going to put the lid on that because I'm going to use it again. So now I'm going to simply pop this in its rightful place, hopefully. Sometimes it doesn't want to play nice. So there we go. Making sure it sticks. Next is our Orchid Oasis layer, which we did not stamp onto. It's just there to give that little pop of color, which is in the bookshelf element we're using. So hopefully that's centered. This now is going to get right in the center of that. Make sure we put it on correctly, not upside down. So there's our bookshelf. Now our piece here, that vellum, that 1.5 by 1.5 inch square, is going to need there's our little flower pot. We're going to sponge on that as well. We need, let me close that up. We need the Orchid Oasis Sponge Dauber. There it is. I'm going to load up my ink dauber, and I'm going to swirl all over the back of, oh, this is going to be a really dark one. Maybe I'll get a tissue and wipe some of that off. Maybe I won't. We'll have to see. I'm going to use my scissors, hopefully, to hold it down. And we're going on the back of the vellum. It does take a while to dry because it's vellum, but it will stain it nicely. Ooh, very, very nicely. Let's see if I can pick it up and show you. Look at that color back there. It makes it pop. It really does. And I went ahead and I used, those are not the glue dots I want. They are the same glue dots, but I had a sheet that was started and I lost it. Oh, there it is on my little stones. So I'm going to use these little glue dots on the back of this. And where am I going to place them? Well, I'm going to place one on the O. And then I'm going to place another on the other O of woman. And that way, if it shows through, it looks intentional. At least that's my theory anyways. So let me try to pop the back off. Come on. It says no go. I am not sticking to that at all. It's probably because of the ink. Or is it there? No, it's not there. Let's use the tip of my pokey tool and rub your little self over there. Okay, that did not work and I don't know why, but I got a fix for it. Sorry, ghosts. I have my daughter's three-legged dog here. I've got 3 dogs out here. They're all laying behind my chair. So I'm going to take a tissue. Probably shouldn't have put so much ink in the O. And wipe off that little bit of the O. Now my glue dots should hopefully stick to the vellum. Yes. No. Yes. No. Is it the coldness out here? I don't know, but it doesn't want to come off. And of course it happens during a video. This is strange. This okay. I can work with this. I can make it work. We're going to use liquid glue. You want to be difficult? You will work for me. Right behind that O. One way or another, you're going down. So here we go. I could have used the clear liquid glue that, forget what that's called. The fine tip glue pen works great on vellum. I'm not sure where my stuff is. It's probably in a drawer. Okay, but we have a backup. We do have a backup plan, and my flower pot is needing to be worked on. Where is my picture? So this right here is what we're going to create, and we need, you could do, no, I was like, we could use Orchid Oasis, but we really can't because then the flower wouldn't be that noticeable. So on our little decorative pot here, I want the little bumpy sides up. I was like, I'm going to use that to hold it, but I think I can do it with my nails. So we're just sponging on our flower pot. I like that they gave us them white so we could change it and do what we wanted. Oh, really nice. Nice and dark. Okay. Yes, that will work. And that's all we need of you, Miss Fresh Freesia. So now we are going to add, here's all my little bits and bobs. Let's see. Hopefully, I might need one more of those. Maybe we'll have to see it. I kind of think so. Because we're, yeah, I should have cut one more. Well, it will work. We're going to cut this in. No, this is, I don't need it. These two are going to go on here. This one is going in the flower pot. And we have one in the front. So we're going to piece these together. I'm going to add just a tidbit of glue here. And this is where, you know, piecing things together can be a little hairy if you're not used to it, or if you're clumsy like me. So now I'm going to add a little bit on the back in a couple of places, and I'm going to flip it over so I can look at where I'm putting them. I know one in the center, maybe. And one, let me get this piece right like so. Did that not get glue in the right spot? This piece should have been over at the side more, but it's gonna work. And I got glue on me. So next I'm gonna put some glue right here, because this is where the flower pot is gonna go. So there we made our little flower pot. I'm gonna hold it down for a second. And now I'm gonna put some dimensionals. I did two, and these are the mini ones, or you could do one big one, but I'm just doing two, like so. Everything's going to stick to me now that I got gluey fingers. So I'm bringing this down. I want it far enough down that it just comes up between the W and the O, but you don't see it. And then another glue dot. We're going to try that again. If I can find the glue dots, that is. One more time. Glue dot. Lucy, stop. Your mom will get mad at you. So this is now going to go right about here to stick the greenery down. And it's also going to help hold the vellum. That's what I mean. We have a backup plan. It's going to hold that vellum in place. We can pop one. If I can, I'm going to pop this one right underneath. Hopefully, I'm going to pull it off. And I'm going to go up here and pop it underneath that green piece. And I'm going to put another one right under this one. I should have let the ink dry a bit before trying to get those glue dots on the back. Now I can't get the one off of the front. There we go. Now it's on there. Okay, we're ready to go to the next step of this card. Are you guys ready? I am ready. So we're going to cut this apart. Okay, I'm cutting everything apart today. This piece is only going to have that two. I don't want that little sharp in there, but it doesn't matter because it's going to have a big rhinestone on it. It's going to look great. So those two little bits we're going to use. This one I'm not going to use. That was just an extra in case I lost one, as there were 4 dies. So we're going to put these two green pieces together. Oh, sometimes. So I used 4. There's 4 and 4, and there's 1 spare, but I'm only going to use 4 on the front. So I got to cut it apart, and I'm just going to go with that rounded edge. And you can see, let me show you, I show you all my little things. This was literally at the edge of the paper, scraps, and it's all it is I was using. And it's great use of them, in my opinion. using little scraps to do things like this. So we need glue. And I'm going to add glue here in the center, a dot, and a dot, and the same on this one, because we're just going to tack it in place, hopefully. Lay those across. It's just tying in that fresh freesia element that's on the card in our flower pot. And they do have a curve to it, so they go perfectly. It's almost like they were meant to go together, these two pieces. Two different die sets, but they go really well. And what really brings them in is this little bit of the Orchid Oasis to the card. So I'm taking this little element and I'm sticking it with the little stem piece in the middle. And it just has those little 3 loopy loops on it. Yikes. And this one, I'm looking at this and I really should use the fine tip glue pen. This one is going to do the same thing. I'm sticking the stem in the center because I'm going to put a big old rhinestone right in the center of that. So now we can glue these on the front of our card. And I'm going to do the same thing, just 3 little globs of glue, 1 at the bottom and 1 at the top. So here's 1, 2, and 3. Like so. I want to make sure all my green leaves are actually on the card itself and not hanging outside of the card. So now we're going to bring in the rhinestones and the faux sea glass. Put the lid on that for a minute. My little clip. So, large rhinestone, adhesive back gems right there, and the other one up top. Now we're going to put the faux sea glass here. So I'm going to start with one of the largest ones, which to me is this one. Had to look at them again. Okay, I'm going to stick you in the middle. I'm going to put one of these on. Well, that will work too. Unless it's upside down, which it is. So no, that didn't help me. I got glue in my fingers. So there's another one. And then one of these little ones over here, and 2 more on the other side. And I want different shapes for all of them. You cannot go there. You have to give a little bit of room for your brother. This little wee one. So that gives our little focal point in this blank space. That gives us something to put there. So these get set aside. My beautiful pokey tool from Miss Gloria Wolf. And now we can work on getting this popped up in the center. So bring in our last of our elements, which we just finished with. So this is our half of the card base that we used. We stamped on it. It is 4 by 5 1/4. This goes on the inside of our card. Just like so, with that nice little border of the garden green card base. Next, we need dimensionals. This time, these are the large dimensionals, and I'm going to need at least 3 of them, because this element, this strip, is what's going to pop our card up. So there's 2, and 1 more for good measure in the center. And it is up to you. You could do it really high you could make it sit way up like so if you wanted. You can make it go all the way down here. I'm going to do it in the middle. And so I'm going to open my card base up, well, a little down from the middle. And this green strip fits within the borders of the white, basic white piece. And like I said, I like that this piece can get flopped up like so. And that is my project for video number 8 for Paper Pumpkin for March 2023. And I hope you guys like this card as much as I did, because this, I'm going to tell you, don't use the Tombow liquid glue. Use the fine tip glue pen, or a wee little dimensional would have worked better back there. So that I am not happy with. I might pop it off and redo it. But anyways, my little tip of the day. But it does work for the videoing of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget, if you want to come play with me for my birthday celebration, May 7th, 11 a.m. on my YouTube channel here, Pacific Coast time. Let me know if you want some of this DSP, and you can create a Stamp-A-Stack along with me. And I hope you do. I don't mind mailing it out. It is no cost to you. But please come back and visit me in my wonderland. Bye-bye now.